Hey everybody, happy Monday and welcome back. If you are new here, I am Missy and this is Missy's Yarniverse and More. And on Mondays, we do Amigurumi Monday, provided I have an amigurumi on the hook or finished, or we are putting pattern ideas in the random draw bucket. Um, And today we are back for an update on the possum that I was working on last week. Um, Actually, I think the last 2 weeks, the last two episodes. Um, if you do recall, um, I had won a pattern giveaway from the lovely Sam over at Memphis Makes. And so I had to decide what pattern I wanted, um, because she let you decide. And of course, most of the things on my wish list were these big, um, beautiful blanket patterns, everything else. But I have so many blanket patterns on the hook right now. I did not want to get a blanket pattern that I would automatically be obsessed with and want to start. And then that would take away from all of the blankets I have on the hook right now that I need to get done. So, of course, I always go back to Amigurumi because if you are new here, you don't know, I am addicted to making amigurumis. As you can see, and this is not even a portion of all of the ones that I've made. Most of Probably 95% of them get donated to hospice and other random places and stuff like that. So the pattern that I told Sam that I would like, I emailed her the information and she went ahead and went into Ravelry, had it sent straight over to me. And so I started it because I wanted to pick something at that moment because I was on the struggle bus with a lot of health issues. Um, my AFib was acting up and I was just literally feeling drained and I wanted something that would bring me joy. And the story behind the possum was I feed the stray cats that randomly show up here and I put little food dishes out on my porch and water and all that. And I also have a possum that shows up to eat randomly as well. And I'm used to it. Like if I'm going to go out and check the food and water dishes and it's dark and I turn on the porch light and I open the main door, the possum is sitting there staring at me through the screen door like, hey, and I just love her. I don't know if it's a girl. I think it is because I do have a mama possum that comes by with all her babies hanging on her. So I decided I wanted this possum pattern. And I do believe when we left off last week, I had the head done, but I hadn't done like face shaping. And I had the ears finished, but they weren't sewn on. None of the parts were sewn together. I think I had the arms done, but the hands weren't stuff enclosed. But we had the body attached to the legs. And the tail wasn't even attached. So how far did I get? Well, I was able to get the hands stuffed and I closed the hands off in the little palm of the little mitt. And I was able to get the head sewed on and some face shaping. And I got the arms sewn on and the tail and the ears. So she is put together. And also the nose piece, they wanted you to embroider like a triangle thing. but I did it and I didn't like it, so I cut it all out. And I ended up just crocheting a little pink circle, the same pink I used for the little feetsies and her little mitts, her little hands. And I just did a little circle and then I just whip stitched it on. And like I said, I was able to do some face shaping. And so I was at one point kind of wishing I would have stuffed the head a little more. But after I did the face shaping and everything, I think she turned out um, pretty much the way she should have. And I actually love her. So this is Piper. Yes, she's got her little tail all put together. She's even got a little belly button. I had thought about making a little pouch because we know that the possum is the only marsupial in North America. Yeah, they're the only marsupial that we have that lives here. Um, but as I had told you guys last time, there was more parts to her if I so choose to make them. So, do you want to see the parts? So yes, this is Piper, and I love her so much. I have decided, seeing how I made her kind of in tribute to my little visitor, I have now been calling the outside possum Piper as well. So yeah, let's look at her other little parts. Um, and then I'll show you the pattern. So some of you had guessed when I said, what else do you think I'll be making? Um, and I'm trying to remember. I think there was a couple of you that said babies. Yep, I made little baby possums. And they are so stinking cute. Um, and actually they were easier than I thought they were going to be. Granted, you had to do the tail separate and the ears separate, and you had to sew them all on. I chose to use the itty bitty safety eyes, and I embroidered a little pink nose on there. So, yeah. So there's a baby and another baby. Yeah. Because how many babies does a possum need? Well, the one that hangs around here has quite a few. And another baby. And another baby. And then because Binks was kind of eyeballing all these little possum babies, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to steal one because she is known for stealing amigurumi parts. So I had to like tuck them down in my whip bag. And I was hoping that she wouldn't like dig through there when I wasn't looking or when I went to bed, even though I had it zipped, but you never know with her. So I made another one, but I did not put plastic eyes on it. I just embroidered the little eyes. So Binks will have her own little bitty baby possum to play with, but I didn't give it to her yet. I was waiting till we did the video. So yeah, all in all, let's line them up here. I made 5 baby possums. 4 of which to go with Piper and 1 to keep Binks busy because Binks loves her toys. So yes, we have 5 little babies. And I decided that she was a little plain. So there was one little portion that was part of the pattern, and Let me put it on. And then I added a little something because Missy can't just leave things plain. And give me a second here because, yeah. Hang tight, guys. You guys are going to die when you see this. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't want to grab the wrong one. Yep. I just want to make sure I wasn't grabbing Binksy's little possum baby. So, you know how the in thing a few years back was people crocheting the little aprons with all the little pockets in them to hold the chicken eggs when you would go out to get your eggs from the chicken coops and stuff? She has an apron to hold her babies. And of course, I had to dress her up a little bit, and she's got a little headband, because, she's a hardworking mom and she's still got to look pretty. So, yeah, this is Piper, and I absolutely think she is so stinking cute. They suggest you can put wire in the tail, but because I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to be doing with her, I did not put wire in there. I wanted to leave it as is. And I'm almost positive that I think I'm going to keep her. I almost never, ever, ever keep my Amis, but she was my first possum. Now I want to make one in blanket yarn. Honestly, I do. I think it would be so stinking cute to have a Piper in blanket yarn, and she would be huge. Um, yeah, I would have to. I know how I could do the apron. Um, I would have to adjust, the size and stuff. But could you imagine this in blanket yarn or chenille? Chenille would probably be about the same size if I were to use, because I have a bunch of this. And there's some up there and some up there behind there. That's all Premier Parfait. And yeah. So how do you guys like Piper? I absolutely adore her. The yarns that I used, I'm going to stand her right there, was for her apron. I had this random one of skein of, I love this yarn. I want to say this is Bloomopolis. Yeah, Bloomopolis. 100% acrylic. And it's 5 ounces or 142 grams, 252 yards or 230 meters. And they recommend a 5 millimeter knitting needles, which is a US 8, or a USI 9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And it's Bloomopolis from I Love This Yarn in the prints. And it is so pretty. Very springy. The pattern called for using maroon, but you know me and my bright colors. So I chose to use this spring colorway. And then for the pink part, her little mitts and her little toesies, it was the Big Twist Value in, I want to say, yeah, light rose. And it's a 4-weight yarn, of course. 380 yards or 6 ounces, 347 meters or 170 grams. And we still have quite a bit of this left over. And then, why do I have, oh, I was going to say, why do I have labels? And then for the black, this is a skein of just Red Heart Super Saver in black that I've been using on quite a few projects because I don't use a whole lot of black. So when I do, it's just in little bits and pieces. And then I've got the labels for out of that big skein of white, because I was using this on the veterans blanket. It was from the Premier Just 1 Pound. It was one of the skeins, as you can see, that a bunch of us found at the Dollar Tree for $5. And it's a 4-weight as well. But this is what's left of it. I finally had to wind it up because the skein was collapsing in on itself. And when you would pull, it was just getting all tangled up. So I finally just rolled it in a ball. And then I had the same problem. This was the body color. And it was the Gray Heather from the Red Heart Super Saver. So this was a full skein, if I remember correctly. And this is what's left of it. So I just have the labels in the bag so that when the time comes and I use them all up, then I can put the labels in my basket once they're finished up. But not until then. That's why they're still in the project bag. And I'm leaving these in here just in case I decide I'm going to make another Piper with this same yarn. Because I think it would probably almost use up the gray. And I think at some point here soon, I will probably make another one of her with these to donate to hospice because I think she's so stinking cute. And I know that eventually they would find a patient that loves possums, and that's where she would go to live. So the pattern that I had, my dear beautiful Sam, my yarny friend, the pattern that I told her that I wanted was actually called Piper the Possum. And as you can see, she's got the babies and all that. And this is my version, and that's the one in the book for the pattern. I like my face and my ears kind of better. And there was a couple little things I changed on it, of course, because, yeah. But it's by Floofs and Things, and it's an intermediate, a difficulty of 3 out of 5. Yeah, there was some things on there that if you are not very well versed at doing amigurumi, you probably would have struggled with, but it's very, very detailed on and very well written. I have to say, this is the first time I've ever done a pattern by Floofs and Things, and I guess it came out in 2022. And the pattern's on Ravelry. I think it might be on Etsy as well. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, if any of you are interested in Piper the Possum, it's by Floofs and Things. I think that's a really cute name. And there you go. And there's an email and all of that stuff. But here's the difficulty scale, the 3 out of 5. I really need to go in there and look and see what other patterns they have. Because I really like this one. And perhaps see if they have any other wildlife thingies. because you guys know I'm on the hot lookout for a skunk that I feel is not too cartoony. Because I really want to make a skunk to go with my little menagerie of wildlife. I'm trying to do all the little wildlife that pops up here and there around here, to kind of, give me you know, a little memorial little thing of all my little critters that come and visit. And I'm just rambling today. I'm having an off kind of day. We've got storms that have been rolling in off and on, and I've had a headache plaguing me all day, and I don't know. I'm thinking it's probably allergies because every tree out there is blooming or flowering. And yeah, um, I'm having to blow my nose a lot, and I know I'm not sick or anything, so I'm just thinking that my allergy meds are not working right now. So if they don't kick in and start helping, I'm gonna have to call my primary care and say, hey, yeah, and I'm feeling like I got sand in my eyes. So um, I do have allergic reactions in my eyes as well. That was one of the things that the eye doctor found when they tested me with some kind of drops, that it showed that I have allergies in my eyes. So I'm thinking that's what it is. So yeah, guys, that's Piper. She's all a wrap, and I am very happy with the outcome. And I think she's so stinking cute with her little mommy apron, um, to hold all her little possum babies. And the possum babies just came out super darling. Um, so she is going to sit on the shelf back here, and until we find a little skunky friend to make, she's going to be sitting here by herself. So let's hope. And I need to start reorganizing some of my critters. Because yeah, they're kind of getting really random. Yeah, I think I'll do that when I'm hoping this week to get to some organization in here, because we were too busy the end of this past week and the weekend, for me to even start. So yeah. So I think she's gonna sit up there, and so she will be hanging out every time we do a video. So yeah, with that, um, I just want to say welcome to all the newbies. Um, I haven't even looked lately to see what the number is, but it had gone up quite a bit since the last time I had looked. Um, and I am so appreciative for all of you who are coming in and joining in the Yarny journey, because I really like showing the things that I make and talking about the things that I make. And but like I've always said, as much as I like making things and gifting them and donating, what have you, I also like seeing the things that everyone else makes. So if you feel inclined, for Amigurumi Mondays, feel free to send me a picture of any Ami that you're working on or just finished, and I'll kind of spotlight it whenever I do my Amigurumi Monday. So now I just have to figure out what Ami is going to be next, because I almost always have one on the hook. And I'm kind of torn between drawing from the random draw bucket and actually starting an Ami that I've been wanting to do for the last couple of years to turn in as a fair entry. And it's going to be a bigger undertaking because it is so much larger. But up to this point, stuff always happened, and I never had time to get it done and turn it in. But I'm also thinking, do I skip that again this year? Because I looked online after I was talking to a friend last night to find out when our county fair is. Because last year it ended up being like 3 weeks earlier than normal. And we were kind of caught off guard and did not get to make the things that I wanted to because I just did not have enough time between all of the donations I was doing for hospice. I made like 30 some odd things for a cat rescue fundraiser to sell to earn money for the cat rescue locally here. And I just didn't have the time to do all the things that I wanted to do. And that was a a dragon. And it's a very specific dragon called Sprinkles the Dragon. Um, and I'm torn as to whether to start that dragon amongst everything else I have going on, or possibly turning her in for that category. Um, what do you guys think I should do? Um, I'm so torn. I am so torn. You guys help me figure it out because we don't have a specific amigurumi category. We have 7 categories for crochet in at our small county fair. We have doily, we have baby item, we have hat, scarf, holiday item, um, Afghan, and any other. And normally every year I do an amigurumi and I end up putting it in any other because we don't have a stuffed toy, we don't have amigurumi, any of that. They're so old school. They really need to update our categories. And I honestly think they need to add some because, like household, stuff like that. But maybe I need to go, a volunteer to be, amongst all my other things I've got to do, volunteer to work, um, for the fair, for the exhibit thing, and maybe start putting a bug in some people's ears for suggestions on other categories. Um, because it's weird when you have any of the other said things don't fall under, it goes under any other. And it's weird to have like this being judged against like a pillow or a cape. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, it's not even. I think they need to have a category for each thing. So yeah, maybe I need to talk to the fair board. They're so old school. They haven't updated anything in years. It's always the same. I could probably pull up the premium entry book from 20 years ago and it's probably exactly the same as it is today. Um, so yeah. Um, what do you guys think, guys? Help me figure this out. Should I enter her or should I try and start the dragon? Um, it's a big conundrum and I'm very, very, very conflicted. So help me out, guys, with your suggestions. Pros, I wouldn't have to be trying to finish another project because I have this one done. But cons, I'm still conflicted because the last 2 years I never got to make the dragon, and I promised myself I would do it this year, and still have yet not done it. Um, but I found out that this year, the reason why I'm saying this, I think I got off track, was last year the fair, we got caught off guard. It was 3 weeks earlier. Normally our fair is like the 3rd week of July, which is still pretty early. We are the earliest one around here. Everybody else is further back in end of summer, beginning of fall. I don't know why ours is that early. But they hit us last year with the last week of June. And when I looked last night, we are the last week of June again, the 23rd through the 28th, which is a Monday through Saturday, which means whatever crochet I'm going to enter or handmade jewelry or paintings, whatever, has to be turned in the Saturday prior for judging. and that would be on the 21st of June. So I need to figure out how many weeks I have. And I need to actually sit down and write down what I want to do for each category. Yeah. Help me out, guys. What do you guys think? Enter Piper or try and do the dragon? What would you guys do? I'm very curious. Yeah. Help me not be so conflicted. So with that, I'm going to set her over here. I am going to let you guys go. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, seeing how it's Monday, the beginning of the week. And I hope you have a great week. And stay tuned for tomorrow. I have a special video coming out as a thank you to a very special soul that I recently met. And I'm going to tell you guys all about her for my Tuesday video. So, yeah, come back tomorrow and check that out. I'm super excited, and I got books falling over. I'm super excited to tell you guys all about this person and what they did. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you anymore because I'll let it slip. So, with that, I'm going to let you guys go and leave you with these parting words. Just remember, life is not perfect, so be kind. Try and create something new every day and keep reaching for the stars and your yarn. So till next time, love you guys. Bye for now.